The September 12th, 2018 meeting of the Municipal Code Enforcement Board is called to order.
Mike?
Your mic.
Sorry. 2 times. Please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Ladies and gentlemen, the Municipal Code Enforcement Board is charged with conducting hearings to determine whether an alleged violation of the city code has occurred. Decisions made by this quasi-judicial board will be based on the evidence and the facts presented tonight. Our meetings are conducted in accordance with Robert's Rules of Order, and each case will begin with the city presenting its evidence of the alleged violation. The respondent will then present his or her case. Both parties will have an opportunity to cross-examine all witnesses. The board members may question any witness. Comments by both parties must be relevant to the case. Persons wishing to speak will be given an opportunity to do so by the chairman and must address the board from the podium after giving their name and address. Upon request, copies of materials submitted by staff are available for review. Board members are reminded to obtain permission to speak from the chair, and questions of the city should be directed to the city attorney. For the attorney for the city. At this time, I will ask all persons who expect to give testimony tonight to stand and be sworn in by the deputy city clerk.
Please raise your right hand. Do you swear or affirm that the testimony or evidence you're about to give or present is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Okay, to begin with, has everyone received a copy of the minutes, reviewed the minutes, had any changes? Could I get a motion to approve the minutes?
I'll second that.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Our first case this evening.
Before we start with the first case,
Okay.
Mr. Ernie Miller is going to have a few words here.
All right, good morning, or good evening, Board. At this time, I'd like to ask the members of the board if they've had any ex parte communications regarding any of the matters coming before the board this evening. If you've had verbal communications, if you please would disclose the sum and substance of the communications, when and where they occurred, and with whom they occurred. And if you received any written communication, if you could please disclose the nature of those communications, and then pass it to the clerk so they can get into the record.
And that will be for each case tonight.
No.
No?
No, I haven't heard.
No.
No.
Okay,
Again, Mr. Chair, no ex parte communication.
that's good. You spared yourselves from hearing it on each case. Okay, first case.
Okay, the first case this evening will be case number 1980, City versus Leighton Dorset, for property located at 206 Holland Avenue. The case is before the board based on alleged violation of Section 828, Subsection A, Subsection 1, permits application required. The case will be prosecuted this evening by Officer Jose Silva. The city has evidence that the notice of violation and notice of hearing were properly served.
Kristen,
Yes.
did you have, it's
She
the,
said 206 Holland, it's 318 Bahamas.
It is 318 Bahamas Avenue.
there you go,
Please
thank you.
correct that.
I was looking.
Good evening, Jose Silva, Code Compliance
Good evening.
Officer. This case generated on May 14, 2018 from Community Development. I received an email from them requesting that I generate a notice of violation for a stop work order that they had issued at 318 South Bahamas Avenue. On this date, on May 14, 2018, I completed a notice of violation with a compliance date of May 25th, 2018. The home was not occupied, so I posted a notice at the home as well as City Hall and mailed copies, both certified and regular, mailed to the address of the registered owner. On May 25th, 2018, I was included in an email, carbon copied on an email, and the email was directed to Director Anisi from Community Development, Mr. Dorsett, requesting until July 1st, 2018 to come into compliance and submit the plans for the residents. On August 20th, I met with Community Development Director Anisi and determined that the plans had not been submitted yet for the remodel to the residents. This time, I'd like to submit a copy of the stop work order for the residents that was issued by them.
Board will accept.
As of this date, there has been a partial compliance on it. They have obtained a permit for the interior remodel, but there's still a permit for electrical work that's outstanding. I've spoken to Mr. Dorsett over the phone and asked him to respond here tonight. So at this time, the property is still out of compliance.
Okay, but it's an electrical permit issue that's,
Electrical permit needs to be pulled still.
and did you say we have a respondent here?
Excuse me, sir?
Did you say we have someone here?
Yeah,
to
Mr.
speak to
Dorsett,
that?
the owner of the residence, is here today.
Okay. Are there any questions of Mr. Silva? There being none? Thank you. Hold on, though.
I'll be right here, sir.
Hey, good afternoon.
Name and address, please.
Leighton Dorset, 318 Bahamas Avenue. So I would concur with what Mr. Silva said. I would like to add that we actually did turn in plans June 25th, but they came back with edits. So we did beat the July 1st deadline, so we turned that in June 25th. This has been a learning process for my wife and myself. I think we watched too much Fixer Upper. But anyway, so we had already paid the architect at the point that we turned him in June 25th. And then we came back with the edits from the city regarding two different things. And he took his time to get those back since he had already been paid. So we ended up turning those in August 23rd. And then the city called, talked to Amir on the September 6th. And then I pulled my general home renovation permit on the 10th. And we are still waiting to pull the electrical permit. So yeah, we're getting with our electrician and trying to get that taken care of. But again, he's already been paid as well. So
The electrician has been paid?
yeah, so we're trying to get him to come in and pull the permits. So
Okay, how long do you think that it will take you to get him motivated to get the permit? I assume he's already done the work if he's been paid.
right. So we're trying to get him as soon as possible. I mean, I don't know, to be honest with you. I mean, I would request 2 weeks, but I don't know.
Okay. But you think he's honorable, then he will stand up for it?
I think so, yes, sir.
All right. Any other questions?
How long have you been waiting so far for the electrical?
So actually, just this week, when Amir and I talked, so he told me we needed the electrical pulled, and so I'm getting with our electrician, so it was just this week when we talked on Monday, actually. So,
Mr. Nappi?
Two questions, one for you and one for Officer Silva. Ask you both the same question. Is anybody living in the house?
we currently are, yes.
Okay, Mr. Silva, is this a health safety issue or
Sir,
just a procedure issue?
Sir, I don't know. Haven't inspected the inside of the house. The email came from Community Development saying generate the stop work order for the work that was done there. I have not seen the interior of the home, so I don't know the extent of what needs to be repair or the permit pulled for.
Okay, thank you.
The electrical at this point is functioning, it's just you didn't get a permit for
It
it.
is. It's a 220 outlet that's not being used in our, our laundry room, and added laundry room, outlet that we put in. And then it's our tankless hot water system. So it's really the
Okay.
main things that need to be addressed.
So you learned a few things?
Oh, yes. Many things. Never again. So yeah, we're pretty much done after this one, so. So as
All
far as
right.
renovation goes, so. Lesson learned, pull your permits, folks.
There you go, thank you.
Yeah.
All right, any other questions? There being none, thank you.
All right, thanks.
Motion, please?
Based on the testimony of Co-Compliance Officer Jose Silva in case number 18-1980 and the testimony of Mr. Leighton Dorset, with the evidence presented to the board at this hearing and the documented evidence received by the board, I make a motion that the board find Leighton Dorset in case number 18-1980 to be guilty of violating section 8-28, subsection A, subsection 1 of the city code, and give the respondents until October 10th to come into compliance with the code sections in question. If the property is not brought into compliance by that date, a fine of $25 per day shall begin to accrue on the day following, and continue to accrue until the date that the violator provides the city with evidence that the property has been brought into compliance.
I'll second that.
Motion by Mr. Stats, second by Mr. Newkirk. Any discussion? There being none, all in favor? Aye. Opposed? No nays. So, Mr. Leighton Dorset, you come up and I can release you.
Okay.
You were just found guilty in the case of the violation, and you have a fine of $25 per day that will start on October 11th.
Okay.
And if you don't get your permit before then, which will bring the case into compliance. So, just to let you know. So
Okay.
Okay?
All right, thank y'all. Have a good night.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Next case.
Our next case is case number 183152, City versus Seva Development Services LLC for property located at 5108 Oak Haven Lane. The case is before the board based on alleged violation of section 12921, parking residential property. The case will be prosecuted this evening by Director Tom Brony. The city has evidence that the notice of violation and notice of hearing were properly served.
Good evening, Tom Baroni, Code Compliance. This case originated proactively on July 19, 2018, when I observed yard parking and overgrown conditions. I left 2 door hangers with a reinspection date of July 23, 2018. My reinspection on the 30th of July noted no change. Therefore, a notice of violation was prepared that same day with a compliance date of August 6, 2018. I posted the notice at the front door and requested copies be sent certified and first-class mail. I also requested a copy be posted at City Hall for the 10-day requirement. My inspection on the 6th of August noted that the yard was mowed and the vehicle had been removed off the yard, putting the property in compliance, which I closed the case at that time. During my routine patrol, once again, I noted yard parking on August 25th. I reopened the case due to the violation fell out of compliance within the 45 days of when I received service of the notice. At this time, I would like to submit photographic evidence of the violation that was taken by me. Exhibit number 1 shows 1 vehicle parked on the grass area, which was on August 25th. The other photo is August 28th, taken by me, showing 3 vehicles parked on the grass. Another photo showing September 8th, 2018. Jose Silva took this photo on a Saturday morning inspection. I'd like to submit as evidence.
Board will accept. appears that this has been going on for a while.
It appears that way, yes. This was Officer Buckland's zone, so I'm not that familiar with the property itself, but looking at the front yard grass area, this has been going on for a while. So on Tuesday morning, yesterday morning at 7 a.m., I noted again a black pickup truck parked on the grass. So today, I'm not going to put the property in compliance. And what I was advised by the building department, that the homeowner did pull a permit, and they are going to expand the driveway with the permit. And I think the property is here tonight.
Any questions of Mr. Barone? Director Barone? There being none, thank you.
Thank you.
All right, name and address, please.
Hi, yes, I'm Victoria Hartman. My address is 15623 Eastbourne Drive, Odessa, Florida, 33556.
I'll give them mine too.
Oh.
I'm Eric Hartman, same address, 15623 Eastbourne Drive, Odessa, 33556.
So we acknowledge that our children have parked in the grass there. We purchased this home about a year ago, not familiar at all with Temple Terrace, because we had 3 children at the time going to USF, so we bought it to save ourselves rent. One of our children has graduated, and so now we have our 2 boys and 2 of their friends living at the house. So we do acknowledge, we've told them now not to park there. They had told us that they haven't been, so. So we were surprised about that. But we did pull a permit, and we do have a contractor scheduled to expand the driveway on 2 weeks from today is when it's scheduled.
You don't look old enough to have.
Thank you.
Thank you.
So, so you've gone through, you've got your permit for this, for it, and you've scheduled your contractor.
We do,
So
yeah.
everything being as it is, will all be in compliance probably within 30 days, would you say?
Yes, yes.
And I would say, I would also add, we'll be stopping there this evening, and we should be in compliance now, because there's not really a reason that they can't stay in the current driveway. We're expanding it to make it a little bit easier for them, but we should, you know, those photos really kind of surprised us, I'll say.
It's tough
so-
being the inside car.
Yeah.
So.
Any other questions? There being none, thank you. I call for a motion.
You gotta get organized.
Yeah. Based on the testimony of. I have it on. I don't-
Bring it up closer to you.
Is that better?
No.
No?
See if it works.
Is that, yeah.
That's
There you
better.
I can hear myself then. All right. Based on the testimony of Code Director Barone and, let's say, Eric and Lisa, is that? Victoria, sorry, Victoria Hartman. Presented to the board at this hearing and the documentary evidence received by the board, I make a motion that the board find SIVA Development Services LLC and SG Registered Agent LLC in case number 18-3152 to be guilty of violating section 12-921 of the city code and give the respondents until October 10th to come into compliance with the code sections in question. If the property is not brought into compliance by that date, a fine of $25 per day shall begin to accrue on October 11th and continue to accrue until the date that the violator provides the city with evidence that the property has been brought into compliance.
Did you give the case number?
Yeah.
Okay.
Second.
Motion by Mr. Snelling and second by Mr. Stats. Any discussion? None? All in favor? Aye. Opposed? No nays. Okay, Mr. and Mrs. Hartman, if you want to come up. And what we just did was we found you guilty in this case of a violation. And if your case is not in compliance, so if your driveway doesn't get done within the 30 days, then a fine will begin to accrue on the 11th of October. If there should be some issue with the driveway, being you have the permit already, that's a big plus. But if there should be a rain out, hurricane comes, blows your, consider coming back before us in October. Don't let it drag out.
Will do. The only question, is it okay? Quick question?
Well, we don't have to answer it.
Well, yeah, that's true. The only question is, I'm not sure if I heard right, we're not sure why. We had an LLC and we bought it in that instead of our own names, but it was only the SIVA Development Services LLC. I'm not sure if I heard something further.
Yes.
SIVA is the sole owner of that property, so I wasn't sure.
What it referenced was SG Registered Agent LLC,
Okay,
after the LLC. So
okay,
whatever that
Oh.
means to you, it doesn't
Yeah.
mean a whole lot to me.
Okay,
okay.
okay,
I'm not sure.
okay.
Yeah, I'm sure it's something.
Okay.
But it's us.
All
It's
right.
us. Yeah, okay.
Very good. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And we'll jump to our next case, which will be an unfinished business. Case number 181866, City versus Cerberus, SFR Holdings LP, for property located at 5310 Rainbow Drive. The expiration of compliance is tonight at midnight, and we have Mr. Trenoris here to speak.
Were you sworn in?
Yeah,
Okay. I didn't look over.
sorry. Ken Trenoris, 2230 Everest Parkway, Cape Coral. Hi again. We got the permits pulled, and we're just waiting for the contractor to start. I actually had lunch with the general contractor today. He's saying that it's on the list. He'll give me a call the moment they dig the hole and get the first inspection. So hopefully this will be the last time you guys will see me.
Okay. This is the Breezeway case from last month,
And the month before.
and the month. Okay, is that it? Any
Yep.
questions? There being none. Can I have a motion for an extension in this case?
Is there a format for that? I'll make a
No, there
motion
is
to
none.
extend an additional 30 days in case number 18-1866.
I have a motion by Mr. Napke. Is there a second? Second by Mr. Snelling. Is there any discussion?
Yeah. Did we extend this one
Yes.
once before? We did,
Twice, actually.
twice?
Yeah.
And this was for the
Yeah, the renter backed into the column that was
column,
holding the
okay.
porch up. So we had to get engineering. We had the engineering drafted, then we got the contractor to bid it, and he pulled the permit, I think, about a week ago, right? About a week ago.
Yeah. But it was, the first was a hearing, and then we had an extension, and then,
Correct. Yeah.
Mr. Tom, Mr. Director Browning?
The city has no problem giving them a 30-day extension, but this will probably be the last one. He's already come in front of the board twice already, So this is only one column, so I'm not, this is 3 months for one column, so, okay?
Okay,
Thank you, sir.
thank you. All right,
Good?
thank you. Any more discussion? All in favor? Aye. Opposed? No nays.
We are now going to hear the two lien reductions. So we will begin with the consideration of lien reduction petition in case number 11-0553, City versus Richard Cresswell. Director Brony will present.
Good evening, Tom Barone. At this time, I would like to introduce this lien reduction petition request in case number 11-0553, City versus Richard Cresswell, property located at 8433 Laurelland Place with a lien amount of $1,000. This case originated back in March of 2011 when Code Compliance received an email from the Fire Department Rental Housing Program for failure to submit a completed application and the rental permit fees for 2010-2011. This case was heard at the April 13, 2011 Code Board hearing, which the board found the owner guilty with a $50 per day fine that would accrue on May 12, 2011, with a cap of $1,000. City staff, back on June 17, 2011, submitted an affidavit of compliance, putting the property in compliance. On July 19, 2011, respondent was sent a letter informing him that the lien had accrued with a cap of $1,000. On July 27, 2011, City Clerk's office sent a lien reduction petition to Mr. Cresswell that he requested. Another letter was sent out on September 12th, March 11th of 2012, April 15, 2013, September 7th, 2012, of lien amount with the approved motion by the Code Board. So the board had made a motion to city staff to send out another lien amount that this gentleman owed at the time. On August 12, 2018, a notice of intent to foreclose letter was mailed to the Mr. Cresswell at his current mailing address, and then Mr. Cresswell then requested a lien reduction hearing. Based on the notification made by Mr. Cresswell and by city staff, either by telephone, emails, or letters throughout the years, and that Mr. Cresswell was not present at the Code Board hearing back on April 13, 2011. My recommendation to the board this evening is not to reduce the lien amount and keep it at $1,000.
Okay. Thank
But
you.
Mr. Cresswell stated in the petition that he was never notified about this. He was notified 9 times about this lien.
Okay. Are there any questions?
Just maybe a procedural question first. If I read this correctly, it looks like that the payment of, excuse me, payment of the fine is separate from the application, or is that,
Well, there is an application fee, I believe it was $250.
that you can pay that fee separate from actually filing the application? That's what it
You
sounded
could,
like.
but it has to be submitted to generate the inspection by the housing inspector.
So I think the
So both-
violation in this case was for not submitting the application. Is
That's
that
correct. That's correct.
Okay.
Any other questions? Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
Mr. Criswell?
Good evening.
Name and address?
Yeah, Richard Cresswell. The property address is 8433. The street's called Laurelland Place, Temple Terrace.
Okay, that's not your mailing address?
No, my mailing address now, because we've moved, is 375 Mellenbacher Road in Largo, Florida.
Okay. Bel Air Bluffs.
Yeah, Bel Air, yeah, yeah, right, Bel Air
Okay.
Bluffs, Largo, same,
All right, just making sure that it's
absolutely
right.
correct.
Okay,
the majority of the information is absolutely correct. Back on, when I did get a notice of violation, which I acknowledge getting because it's here in my hand, on 3/25 of 2011, I actually talked to Sal, I don't know if it's Scorzo or Scrazzo, and I Federal Expressed a payment in for the $250. There's the Federal Express receipt right there. But I guess everybody's acknowledging that I did make the payment of $250. I wasn't being evasive on the payment. There were hardships in my life back in 2011, and I wasn't trying to dodge the payment. In 2011, I was a partner in a business, and I had about $250,000 of equipment and raw materials. Raw materials are, we manufactured weight loss products, we manufactured weight gainer products, if you want to put weight on. And my partner had taken all my equipment and all my material to make the equipment, or to make the material. And then my bank account, and I can verify this, I can get documents from Wells Fargo or Wachovia, whichever it was back then, and took about $60,000 out of the checking account. So in 2011, wasn't a good year for me. And this wasn't a financial hardship. That was a financial hardship. A personal hardship was my sister dying then. So I had some scrambled eggs going on. That obviously shouldn't affect me from paying a bill. When I talked to Sal, actually, after paying the bill, I did get another notice in the mail. I'm acknowledging that. I got another notice, okay? It said that I was in compliance, but I was a month late. And it's like, geez, if I'm a month late on my car payment, they don't lien my car. If I'm a month late on my house, they don't lien my house. You know, and it's $1,000. So I called Sal, and I explained to him my hardship situation. And I don't have anything in documentation on this. He says, Richard, I get it. I get it. You know, to compound things, just last year, I got a 15-year-old son and an 18, and my house was foreclosed on December 22nd. So from 2011 to right about now, you know, it's been rough. I'll get over it. But, you know, and you can document that too. Chase Bank took my home away Christmas. And, you know, if you haven't had it happen to you, try to tell your sons they aren't sleeping in their bed on Christmas Eve. You know, and that's just part of the compounding. You know, it's one of those clouds that are going to clear up. I get it. I'm faithful. I got faith. You know, and it's going to get a lot better. But from 2011 until it seems like just last year, I've had my, you know, butt handed to me. I didn't intend on dodging that payment. I knew I had to pay it, and I did pay it. But I was 36 days late. I wouldn't be 36 days late, and it was like $50 a day. I would pay $50. I didn't have it. I didn't have the $50. I got everything taken away from me. I started from zero again. I don't want to tell you what I was making a month, but it was nice. It was over $10,000 a month. I was doing good. It was like umbrella drinks for life, but it all went away. It was like sticker shock. It was like a light switch. So I'm scrambling. And, you know, as the years pass, I'm trying to borrow money to get back into business, trying to get loans, to, you know, just because I wanted to do the same thing over again. Had no trust with my investors. It just things weren't going well. Last couple of years, they have been going well. I have some new businesses going, revenues coming in, and could I pay the $1,000? Yeah, but I'm digging myself out of a hole still. For me to pay $1,000 right now, I'll be honest with you guys, for me to pay $1,000 right now would wipe out all my Thanksgiving money and a good portion of my Christmas money. And that's just being straight with you. I've had to move twice since Chase foreclosed on my home. Because the home I moved into, the guy says, well, you need to leave because I'm gonna try to sell the home. It's like, dang, dude, you just let me move in here. So now I'm telling my kids again, gotta move again, boys. You know, and so it's been a brutal last couple of years, but anyways, I explained to Sal the hardship situation back in 2011. He says, I get it, Rich. Don't worry about it. So to me, don't worry about it. And I didn't know until I got this letter in the mail just recently that my property was being liened. I mean, from what was going on in my life from 2011 until now is, I mean, hey, I'm a big boy. I'm 21. I get it. I should have paid attention to it, right? But I didn't. I didn't, you know.
I have a question for you.
Yeah.
Back in 2011, this was a rental property,
Yes, sir.
and is it still a rental property?
Yes, sir.
And you've been current on your applications from 2011 till now?
I've got no coupons,
Rental
no payment.
agreement?
I haven't received anything since this last document right here dated June 19th, 2011, but I've moved twice. I haven't received anything. That's why I thought this lien didn't even exist.
I'm sorry I asked that question. Do you still own this particular property?
Yes,
Okay, and you're
Yeah.
renting, and it's rented?
yes, it is.
Okay, that's a good thing. Any questions? Any other questions?
You mentioned that you had problems in 2011, but I think this particular violation, at least the lack of a permit and paying the fee was also 2010. So was there, I'm just curious what the situation was in 2010.
I really honestly couldn't tell you what the situation was in 2010. I don't think I had a situation in 2010. But I know on March 25th, 2011, and I don't know what prompted me to pay it or not pay it. But I wasn't dodging it, but on March 25th, 2011, I paid the $250, and I thought it was good. But then I get another letter saying, you're good, but you're not.
Well, maybe I'm misunderstanding, but I don't think the payment of the fee is the violation. It's the fact there was not an application submitted to have them come and inspect the property to be permitted as a rental property, if I'm understanding the situation correctly.
This says that the property is in compliance, but it was out of compliance for 36 days, which reached a cap of $1,000.
That's correct, because you paid the fee, which brings it into compliance.
Right.
But you didn't pay it immediately when you were noticed. You had to be noticed.
Correct, I
Of
didn't.
what our hearing represented, whether I was here or not, I can't remember, but it's the way it operates. We do the hearing, and we can assess the fine, and you weren't at that meeting, I understand, so you would have been noticed of it, though, because that's what happens. When every case which comes before us is then you would have been, any other defendant or client or litigant or whatever you want to call that, I don't know which word is right. But you would receive a letter from the city clerk telling you that the fine, in order to come into compliance, you have to pay the $250, whatever it was. And then you would have also got notification at that same time that it was $50 a day was accruing to a cap of $1,000, rather than accruing for the rest of, from 2011 to 2018. I mean, it would be a lot of difference. So fortunately, we capped it at $1,000 for
Right.
you.
All I can say in my defense, I talked to Sal, and you know, I don't know, maybe that's why he's not working here anymore, but he said it's 36 days late, you're in compliance, and
No, he retired. So,
I was
just for the record.
I was here looking for, you know, some form of lien reduction, something where I can just, you know, say, you know, I paid it, I wasn't dodging you guys. No intent in dodging you guys. If I got the money, I pay it, and when I had the money, I paid you, you know? And I got another letter, and it's like, you're good, but you're not. And I called Sal, and I said, what can we do, man? I'm broke, you know, I'm struggling. And he goes, don't worry about it, we'll work on it. And I don't know what that meant, but obviously it didn't mean the lien went away.
Yeah. Okay.
I'm just looking for a little bit of help, so.
Okay, any other questions? Mr. Nopke?
How long have you owned the property?
Geez, now you're making me. My wife asked me, did you remember, did you forget that stuff with the store I asked you to get? And I only been up at the store for an hour. I've owned it for probably, I don't know, 20 years, 15, 20 years. I've owned it for a long time.
Do you have any equity in the home?
That almost got foreclosed on too, no.
Okay.
I had to do what was called a modification on that, because Bank of America was getting ready to take that away too, and it's like, wait a second. So I filled out mountains of paperwork, you know, and they finally go, yeah, okay, we'll modify your mortgage on that. You know, so I got that one modified. Chase wasn't so kind. Chase took my primary residence away on December 22nd, and that you can find out by looking up city records. I'm renting right now. I'm a 59-year-old renter right now, and I don't feel good about it. If you want to know my personal opinion.
Thank you.
Any other questions? There being none? Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Appreciate it.
Tom, do you want to?
I just want to clarify to make sure Mr. Cresswell understands. Although he paid the permit fee, he did not apply the application or submit the application to the fire department. Both of those things need to be done for Inspector Valenti to come out and inspect the property. So both of those have to be in compliance. So the permit was paid, but the application was not submitted until like a month after your deadline. So it accrued a fine of $1,000 because it was capped. So it was like 30 days out of compliance.
Okay, so it's the application,
It's the application.
the completed application
That's
that
correct, that
was a
he has
month
to
late.
submit plus the fee. So
Okay.
both of those items have to be in compliance before the inspector comes out to inspect the property. So I just want to make sure the defendant understands the situation. And also, just remember, he's been renting this property the whole time. So it's not like he sold the property in 2012, and this has been still rented. So I just want to add that.
And you said he was notified multiple times of the fact the application had not been submitted, correct?
Numerous times, by phone calls, emails. He's spoken to the city clerk 2 or 3 times. Email, I said, he's been aware.
Thank you.
want to just follow up with that? You have the right to do that.
Just a question, Director Barone.
Director Burney, one more question first.
One more question.
Sure.
Has the application been filed yet?
Yes.
Okay.
The property came into compliance, I think, in July of 2011,
Okay, okay.
okay? Sir?
Yeah, July 2011, it was when I got the one last piece of documentation that I can verify. I've got it. A lot of paperwork that they say 9 times. I can't really remember getting 9 notices. If I did, I would have probably done something about it. I'm military. I've done that. I've raised my kids that way. Just do the right thing, if you can, you know? And I couldn't. I didn't see any document. I have a file full of documents. I don't have 9 other ones. And not contradicting the man, I'm sure he's telling the truth. Phone calls? I get a phone call. No phone calls. I got 2 or 3 documents stating it. Just want to reiterate, and I don't know the timing on the permit thing or the application thing. I know I got a bill, and I paid it 36 days late. And we're talking back in 2011. And from talking to somebody here at the city, I thought it was taken care of. You know, and I'm obviously wrong. It hasn't been taken care of. So now I'm trying to sit here and get some kind of forgiveness for it. But does the city actually ever call people on their cell phone and say, hey, I'm from the city? I don't remember getting one of those. I actually had to call that lady over there. Letters maybe, but phone calls? I was never solicited by the city to pay a bill. Never solicited by the city to pay a bill.
So, forgive me, I'm lost. Okay, this capped out in 2011 at $1,000, and it's been laying there until
I
the
didn't
piece
even,
of paper you brought
I
in
got no,
tonight?
I moved from 2620 Keystone Court North from the Temple Terrace location, because I actually lived in that condo okay? I moved from there, moved to St. Petersburg, got foreclosed there, moved into another location, got kicked out of there because the guy wanted to sell it versus rent it, and that was in the Tyrone Square Mall
That's-
area, and then to Mellenbacher right now. So I moved to a few locations. Maybe that's why I didn't get the 9 notices he's telling me about. I got no notices. I got 3, no phone calls. No phone calls. I don't need to lie. I already know I owe $1,000. I mean, so I got a phone call or not? No, I didn't get a phone call. I'm trying to be straight with you guys as much as possible. I had some serious financial hardship. I could use a little bit of a break. I know some don't want to give it. If you can, great. You know, it would help out quite a bit. I'm on the balls of that phrase, you know, and I'm not used to being here. I mean, $250, I'd have paid the $250 on time. Why would I intentionally be 36 days late?
Well, I'm confused. I don't want to drag this on, but I'm confused about the point that you paid $250 without an application.
I don't
How-
know. I just got something in the mail that said, mail this in, and I got the Federal Express documents. I'm taking
Okay.
up a lot of time here, you know. I got the Federal Express, they said you owe $250, I paid $250.
Okay. All
I
right.
get another mail, I get another thing in the mail that says, now you owe $1,000. It's like, Sal, what's up? You know, I'll take care of it. And
Okay.
I'm here, you know,
All right.
sorry.
Thank you. Okay. A motion on a lien reduction? Anyone? Mr. Stats?
Okay.
Thank you.
Based on the lien reduction petition on case number 11-0553, address 8433 Laurelon Place, I make a motion to leave the lien at $1,000.
And I'll second that.
Second by Mr.
I just wanted to explain why.
Newkirk.
The reason why I left it there is actually, if the house has been a rental for the past 7 years, they haven't paid the $250 fine per year. So in actuality, the $1,000 is less than what they would have had to pay. It would have been $1,750 or whatever it would have been. So I don't think that there's a reason to reduce it. In actuality, they're still ahead if they would have had to pay the rental fee every year, so.
I agree.
Okay, motion second. All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Nay? No nays.
Can I get payments on the grant? I can't pay.
That would be with this, a deal, whatever with the city, that's not something that we can work out.
I understand. Pretty much so.
Thank you.
We will now hear the next lien reduction.
Good evening, Tom Barone, Code Compliance. At this time, I'd like to introduce this lien reduction petition requesting case number 17-0403. City versus Betty Morris, property located at 12902 North 53rd Street with a lien amount of $39,600. This case originated back in February of 2017 for damaged windows and stained and damaged exterior walls. A notice of violation was issued on March 7, 2017, with a compliance date of May 24, 2017. When city staff presented the case back in June Code Board hearing, the city staff and Mrs. Morris' daughter were having difficulties trying to find volunteer groups to assist Ms. Morris with the exterior siding. The funds that her husband and her had saved for the siding was used when Mr. Morrison became ill and later passed away. Mr. Inspector Buckman at the time and myself had reached out to several volunteer groups and came up empty. We couldn't find one group to do the work. With 20 inspections during the time of the violations, city costs are $850, and the petitioner is requesting the lien be reduced to zero. Based on the financial hardship and the death of Mr. Morris, my recommendation is to reduce the lien down to $100 to cover the city mailing cost.
Are there any questions?
guess I have to ask one question. Did the illness for Mr. Morris, did that occur prior to the notice of violation? They said they had some money saved up to repair the,
I know in her statement that she wrote that they were saving the money for the repairs of the siding, and then he became ill, and then he later on passed away.
but all this
So,
happened prior to the notice of?
I don't know, that's probably a question for you to ask the petitioner. I don't know that fact.
Any other questions of Director Barone?
This was a very difficult case to come up with a recommendation. I'm only going based on what the petitioner told me in her letter that you have in front of you. And again, this is definitely a hardship here, and so this recommendation is the best thing that I think for the city.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Hi, I'm Stacy Morris, Betty Morris's daughter. I live 12902 North 53rd Street.
Hi, Stacy.
Hi.
I want to just begin it before you say anything about, you must be in celebration that it's in compliance.
It took her a long time. We made over like 20 different companies to try help out. And it took us a while to get the money together to do it, but, because she doesn't have it. So between me and my brother, we were able to come up with enough to get it done. So, yes, very happy.
Okay, any other things you want to tell us? I'm sorry, I probably threw you off, but go ahead.
It's just that, yes, I know that the fee's very high, and it took us a while. But she just doesn't have it. After my dad died, he died in 2010. They had started working on the house, and then he got diagnosed with liver and lung cancer and passed. So his care, medicines, chemo, everything that he went through took what they had saved up, and it was out of compliance for a while, and nothing, like, we never got anything until the first notice. So, at that point, we're trying, like I said, to find help, and I've appeared before the board before, and we just, nobody would help her. So she's 78 years old, bad health, that's why I'm here. And after Dad died, she lost her Social Security because she took his, and then his pension was cut in half. So she lost 1.5, kinds of income. And when she pays her bill, she has less than $100. That doesn't even buy groceries. I buy her groceries for her, and stuff like that. So I try to help out, wherever I can, but I have my own bills to pay as well, so. But,
Well, sorry for the loss of your father.
thank you. He's in a
and,
better place now.
And the hardships that,
Thank you.
but everything is in compliance, so that's
It
good.
is in compliance, yes.
Are there any other questions for Ms. Morris? Morris, is it right?
Yes. Mhm.
There being none? Thank you. You might want to just stay close because I'm going to talk to you afterward. All right. Call for a motion on this lien reduction request.
So I move that we accept the city's recommendation of $100, a reduction of the lien to $100.
In case 170403.
Yes.
Okay.
I'll second that.
Who's second? Mr. Napke, second. All in favor? Aye. Opposed? No nays. So the lien, our recommendation to the council is that the lien be reduced to $100. It'll probably be the first Tuesday in October. And I will be presenting this case and the previous case. I didn't tell him that, but I think that was taken care of. But anyway, I'll be presenting to the council, and if you have anything you want to say to the city council on that evening, you're welcome to be there to represent you or your mother.
It's kind of hard because I work, so it's kind of hard for me to get here because I work in South Tampa, but
Okay? But I think that
we should, okay. I really appreciate it. Thank you so
Mr.
much.
Director
Mr.
Brennan,
Chairman, you may want to just advise Mrs. Morris that once it's presented to council, she has 30 days to pay.
that's correct.
Otherwise, it reverts back to 39,000.
That's correct.
So,
I will make sure.
Thank
it's
you
paid,
for
I
adding
promise.
that.
Thank you.
thank you.
Thank you.
Is there anything else?
You can,
Thank you very much.
you'll be getting contacted by the city clerk.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Chairman,
Yes.
directed to the city clerk, will it go to her or will it go to her mother? The notice?
I'm in direct contact with the daughter.
Okay, that's fine. Answer. Thank you.
I'll make sure she gets it as well.
Thank you.
Thank you.
We will go back to the hearings. Case number 181014, City versus Gregory Brian Milton for property located at 7818 Bolera Drive. The case is before the board based on alleged violation of Section 8102 13B, exterior walls maintained in good repair, Section 8102 13C, roofs maintained in good repair, and Section 1034, sanitation, keep premises clean. The case will be prosecuted this evening by Officer Doug Allen. City has evidence that the notice of violation and notice of hearing were properly served.
Good evening, Mr. Chairman and board members. Doug Allen, Code Compliance Officer. This case originated proactively on March 16th, 2018. My inspection revealed stains and vines on the walls and garage door, debris on the roof, and overgrown conditions and debris in the yard. I left a door hanger with a re-inspection date of June 1st, 2018. My inspection on June 6th showed no change, so a notice of violation was prepared with a compliance date of June 21st, 2018. No one was at home, so I posted the notice at the home as well as at City Hall. Copies were mailed both certified and regular mail to the address. My inspection on August 29th, 2018 revealed no change, so a notice of hearing was prepared on August 29th, 2018, and the case was scheduled for the September Municipal Code Board meeting. At this time, I would like to submit photographic evidence of the violations taken by me on September 6, 2018.
Board will accept.
Exhibit 1 shows debris on the roof. Exhibit 2 shows overgrown conditions. Exhibit 3 shows vines on the wall. Exhibit 4 shows debris in the yard. And as of this time, the site is still out of compliance, and I'm requesting a ruling.
Okay. Thank you. Any questions?
So the house is occupied or unoccupied?
No, it's unoccupied. It's been in foreclosure. It's been unoccupied for an extremely long period of time. It was scheduled for foreclosure originally on July of 2013. Why it's taken so long, I cannot answer that.
And have you been in contact with the owner?
I've not been in contact with the owner, but I did have contact, and that's part of the reason that it went from June up to August to this date, late date. I did have contact with the preservation company. They did come out one time and address some other violations that were on the site. There was an inoperative vehicle, there was vines covering the driveway, and the grass was mowed that one time, but there has been contact, and they just keep telling me that they're in the process of gathering bids from various vendors to do work, but no work has been scheduled to be done.
Okay, thanks.
And this has been, how long since you contacted them?
The last time I talked to them was probably about 3 weeks ago.
3 weeks. But before that, there was,
Yeah, that's why, because the case originated in March, and that's why it's taken so long, because they had done some work between March and June, so seemed like they were being responsive, so I was trying to give them a bit of a benefit of the doubt. But since then, the doubt's been waylaid.
In their discussion, being, well, I guess because it's foreclosed and it's vacant and it's,
Yeah, and the preservation company really either doesn't have the information or can't release the information to me on what the status of anything is. All they know is that, and it took me a while, notice it was posted on the door of who the preservation company was at the time, no longer was in charge of that. They'd gone to another one, so I had to get a hold of find who the mortgage company was, contacted them a couple of times, and they finally put me in contact with the new preservation company, and
so, is the vacant property secured as far as?
yeah, it is
appears?
secured. And
Okay.
for a site that's been vacant that long, it doesn't look too bad, other than the grass. I know that the neighbors are,
Yes,
their patience is wearing thin.
right. Can't see the windshield anymore. Any other questions? Mr. Napke?
You've used a term I'm not familiar with. What is a preservation company?
A preservation company is usually one that's hired by the mortgage holder to preserve the property as far as providing any various services to various contractors that would be needed, whether it's lawn maintenance, pressure washing, painting,
Okay.
wood repair, whatever various contracts, would be needed to bring a site into compliance or into a state of general repair.
Thank you.
Sure.
Any other questions? Thank you.
You're welcome, sir.
Like to call for a motion? Anyone? This side's been pretty quiet.
Based on the testimony of Code Compliance Officer Doug Allen presented to the board at this hearing and the documentary evidence received by the board, I make a motion that the board find Gregory Brian Milton in case number 18-1014 to be guilty of violating sections 8-102 subsection 13 subsection B, 8-102 subsection 13 subsection C, 10-34 of the city code, and give the respondents until October 10th to come into compliance with the code sections in question. If the property is not brought into compliance by the date, a fine of $50 per day shall begin to accrue on the day following compliance date, and continue to accrue until the date that the violator provides the city with evidence that the property has been brought into compliance.
Was there a second? Second by Ms. Who? Mr. Snelling? Any discussion? All in favor? Aye. Opposed? No nays.
Our next case will be case number 18-1483, City versus John E. Romanick Jr. for property located at 5418 River Hills Drive. The case is before the board based on alleged violation of Section 12-859, subsection 3, RVs, boats, and trailers non-commercial. The case will be prosecuted this evening by Officer Jose Silva. The city has evidence that the notice of violation and notice of hearing are properly served.
Good evening, Jose Silva, Code Compliance. This case originated proactively April 11, 2018, from an inactive service listing provided by Utility Building. Went to the residence to verify if the residence was being occupied at the time and observed silver tarp hanging from the balcony over the garage, hiding accumulations in the driveway in front of the garage. There was collapsible tables and other chairs there with that. Also, there was 2 trailers in the rear yard that were unscreened from view. I left door hangers with a compliance date of April 13, 2018. My inspection on April 13, 2018 revealed the tarp from the balcony removed and the driveway accumulations cleared away. I did have contact with the tenant at that time via phone and advised them they had to April 25th to screen the trailers and remove them from the property. On my inspection, April 25th, revealed there was no change. The trailers were still unscreened on the property, so I issued a notice of violation with the compliance date of May 5th, 2018. No one was home, so I posted notice at the home as well as City Hall, mailed copies, both certified and regular, mailed to the address. On May 2nd, I was contacted by Utility Building building and advised that the tenants there did comply and obtain city services for the residents, so I brought that violation of the notice in compliance. On August 14th, 2018, I re-inspected the property and found the trailers unscreened from view. One was in the backyard, one was in the front driveway. This time, I would like to submit photographs taken by me August 14th, 2018, showing the vehicle in the backyard and in the driveway of the residence.
Board will accept.
As of this date, the property has come into compliance. I'd like to submit an affidavit of compliance. I am just looking for a finding.
Board will accept. At this point, I'll call for a motion.
I'll make a motion.
Very good.
Based on the testimony of Code Compliance Officer Jose Silva, presenting case number 18-1483, presented to the board at this hearing and the documentary evidence received by the board, I make a motion that the board find John E. Romanick Jr. in case number 18-1483 to be guilty of violating sections 12-859 subsection 3 of the city code, but because the property was brought into compliance before the date of this hearing, no fine shall be assessed.
I'll second that.
Motion by Mr. Plah, second by Mr. Newkirk. Any discussion? No discussion? All in favor? Aye. Opposed? No nays.
Our next case will be case number 18-2217, City versus R Homes LLC for property located at 206 Holland Avenue. The case is before the board based on alleged violation of Section 8-102-13C, roofs maintained in good repair. The case will be prosecuted this evening by Officer Doug Allen. City is evidence that the notice of violation and notice of hearing are properly served.
Good evening again, board members. Doug Allen, Code Compliance Officer. This case originated proactively on May 24th, 2018. An inspection by Code Officer Steve Buckland revealed the roof of the residence to have substantial vegetative growth. He left a door hanger with a reinspection date of June 1st, 2018. His inspection on June 1st showed no change, so a notice of violation was prepared with a compliance date of June 11th, 2018. No one was at home, so he posted the notice at the home as well as at City Hall. Copies were mailed, both certified and regular mail, to the address. My inspection on August 14th, 2018 revealed no change, so a notice of hearing was prepared on August 22nd, 2018. The case was scheduled for the September Municipal Code Board meeting. At this time, I'd like to submit photographic evidence of the violation taken by me on August 18th, 2018.
Board will accept.
It was kind of called in the office the Holland Avenue putting green.
It's a little thing for putting green, but still again.
On August 28th, 2018, my re-inspection revealed that the site was in compliance and an affidavit of compliance was created on that day. At this time, I'd like to submit an affidavit of compliance.
Board will accept.
And we're just looking for a finding.
Thank you. Are there any further questions?
I was just curious what they did to bring this into compliance.
Well, I believe Mr. Barone, Director Barone actually saw him. He said they were cutting it kind of like sod and rolling it up and just throwing it into a trailer to get rid of it. The odd thing I found is that it's primarily a tar and gravel roof, and that most of the gravel was still on the roof without having to be replenished. With that amount, I mean, it was almost a solid sheet, so I don't know.
That was my second question. What shape is the roof in after
It
that?
looked fairly substantial still, but the house is currently on the market to be sold, so I guess an inspection will reveal whatever potential hazards may or may not be there.
Thanks.
Okay, thank you. Motion? Mr. Snelling.
All right. Based on testimony of Code Compliance Officer Allen, presented to the board at this hearing and the documentary evidence received by the board, I make a motion that the board find R Homes LLC in case number 182217 to be guilty of violating section 12-859, subsection 3 of the city code, but because the property was brought into compliance before the date of this hearing, no fine shall be assessed.
Second.
Second by Mr. Stats. Any discussion? All in favor? Aye. Opposed? No nays.
Our next case will be case number 182700, City versus David J. Cantillo for property located at 419 St. Augustine Avenue. Case is before the board based on alleged violation of section 128593, RVs, boats, and trailers, non-commercial. Case will be prosecuted this evening by Officer Jose Silva. City is evidence that the notice of violation and notice of hearing were properly served.
Good evening again, Jose Silva, Code Compliance Officer. This case originated from a citizen complaint on June 19, 2018. Was contacted by a resident of the neighborhood complaining of a truck and trailer being parked on the yard grass in the side yard of the residence at 419 St. Augustine. On June 20th, 2018, I went to the residence and saw the truck and the trailer parked in the side yard on the grass, unscreened from view. This time I issued door hangers with a compliance date of June 22nd, 2018. An inspection on June 22nd, 2018 revealed the property was in compliance, so I closed the case. On July 31st, 2018, I observed the truck and trailer again parked along the side yard on the grass. At this time, I completed a notice of violation with a compliance date of August 10th, 2018. Posted the notice at the home as well as City Hall. Also mailed copies, both certified and regular mail, to the address of the registered owner. On August 25th, 2018, Director Baroni was working and observed the vehicle parked on the side yard on the street. On August 27th, I observed the truck and trailer again parked on the street next to the residence. And on September 5th, 2018, truck and trailer were parked in the driveway of the residence, unscreened from view. This time, I would like to submit 3 photographs with those dates showing the vehicle in violation.
Board will accept. During this time, has there been any contact with with Mr. Cantillo?
I have had contact with the owner, Mr. Cantillo, and advised him of the problems, and he supposedly was correcting it. As of today, the property is in compliance and is vacant because they have moved out, and he's putting the property on the market. So at this time, I'd like to submit a affidavit of compliance.
Board will accept.
And I'm just asking for a finding.
Thank you. Any questions? I'll call for a motion from the board. Thank you. Mr. Westfall.
Based on the testimony of Code Compliance Officer Jose Silva presented to the board at this hearing and the documentary evidence received by the board, I make a motion that the board find David Cantillo in case number 18-2700 to be guilty of violating sections, where are my sections? Sections 12, excuse me. Section 12-859, subsection 3, to be guilty of the city code, but because the property was brought into compliance before the date of the hearing, no fine shall be assessed.
I'll second that.
Second by Mr. Newkirk. Thank you. Any discussion? All in favor? Aye. Opposed? No nays.
Our next case will be case number 183399, City versus Wells Fargo Bank, N.A. trustee for property located at 311 Live Oak Avenue. Case is before the board based on alleged violation of Section 810213C, roofs maintained in good repair, 810213H, windows and exterior doors maintained in good repair, and Section 810213K, hardware screens duty to maintain. Case will be prosecuted this evening by Director Tom Baroni. City is evidence that the notice of violation and notice of hearing were properly served.
Tom Baroni, Code Compliance. This case originated on August 5th, 2018, when I received an email from the police department of possible squatters residing in the residence. On August 6th, Jose Silva and myself did an inspection of the property and noted bedding inside the vacant dwelling with the windows wide open. I also noted vegetation growing on the roof, rain gutters that also had vegetation, and as well as the fascia boards were damaged. A rear broken window was boarded up. The screen enclosure in the rear of the property had damage or missing screens, and both water valves in the rear of the property were in the off position. Since the property was unoccupied, I prepared a notice of violation on August 6th with the compliance date of August 23rd, 2018. I posted the notice at the front door and requested copies be sent out certified in first-class mail. I also requested a copy be posted at City Hall for the 10-day requirement. Each day after the notice was served, either Jose Silva or myself went by the property to observe any activity. After several days of inspections, no evidence of squatters residing at the property. However, all the other violations still remained out of compliance. At this time, I would like to submit photographic evidence of the violations. Exhibit number 1 was taken on August 27th, shows a damaged fascia board. August 27th, exhibit number 2 was taken by me, showing the boarded windows and vegetation in the rain gutters. And August 27, 2018, that was also taken by me of the screen enclosure had missing or damaged screens.
The
which I'd like
board
to
will
submit.
accept.
As of the date, this date, there has been no change, and therefore the property remains out of compliance. I also haven't heard anything from Wells Fargo Bank.
It appears that's just a screen room, no pool.
Yeah, it's no pool.
It's really not secured in any way, then it's got open windows, a door, being
Well,
their squatters were in there, but they
They're
moved out.
jealousy windows,
Yeah,
so they were in the open position with a screen, so the property is secure,
okay, good.
except for that boarded up window, but that's in the rear of the property. And you'll
Mr. Napke,
The boarded up window, is that something that can easily be removed and replaced as if somebody was there during certain hours when y'all aren't going by?
It's secured properly.
Okay.
It's not being removed, somebody jumping through the window, and it's secured properly.
any other questions? Thank you, Mr. Brown. Call for a motion? Anyone? We get to go home?
I'll take a sip. Based upon the testimony of Director Baroni presented to the board at this hearing and the documentary evidence received by the board I make a motion that the board find Wells Fargo Bank trustee in case number 183399 to be guilty of violating sections 8-10213C, 8-10213H, and 8-10213K of the city code, and to be guilty of violating, in case number, of the city code, and give the respondents until October the 10th to come in compliance with the code section in question. The property is not brought into compliance by that date, a fine of $75 per day shall begin to accrue on the following day, and continue to accrue until the date the violator provides city with evidence that the property's been brought into compliance.
Is there a second?
A second.
Second by Mr. Westfall. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? No nays.
We will finish up unfinished business. Case number 180862, City versus BN Empire LLC for property located at 11009 North 56th Street. An affidavit of non-compliance for section 14-59 was submitted by Director Brony on August 9th, 2018. Case number 181786, City versus Windsor Park, Inc. for property located at 10608 North 52nd Street. An affidavit of compliance for section 12861B7 was submitted by Director Brony, dated August 8th, 2018. This property is now in full compliance. Case number 181866, City versus, we've already done that one. Case number 181935, City versus Scott Pulowski for property located at 9809 North 52nd Street. An affidavit of compliance for section 1031, subsection 3 was submitted by Officer Allen, dated August 10th, 2018. Case number 182059, City versus Spectrum Medical Park LLC for property located at 311 Bullard Parkway A. An affidavit of compliance for section 81661B and 12861B7 was submitted by Director Brony, dated August 8th, 2018. Case number 182159, City versus Josephine Jackson for property located at 9864 Morris Glen Way. An affidavit of compliance for section 104B3 was submitted by Officer Allen, dated August 10th, 2018. Case number 182568, City versus Rictavia Shawan and Rio Laney M. Green for property located at 217 South River Hills Drive. Expiration of compliance is tonight at midnight. Repeat case 183061, City versus Mike W. White trustee and Ann D. White trustee for property located at 516 Courtney Drive. The expiration of compliance was on August 9th, 2018. An affidavit of non-compliance for section 12860 was submitted by Officer Silva, dated August 9th. Case number 183146, City versus Teresa Irene Arroyo Castro for property located at 12701 North 53rd Street. Expiration is tonight at midnight. An affidavit of compliance for section, the expiration was not tonight at midnight. That was, I believe, August 15th. And the affidavit of compliance was submitted dated August 15th for section 12921 by Director Brony.
I want to commend the staff on the compliance, all these cases that are compliant this evening. Great job. And also the compliance in some of the cases that we heard tonight. Wonderful job. Thank you. Ready for new business?
First, thank you for the pat on the back of my staff. They do an
Good
outstanding,
job.
they do an outstanding job. I'd like to also welcome Ernest Mueller to the code board, and so welcome aboard. Also, I'd like to say thank you to the board for coming in 30 minutes earlier. I know you volunteer your time, and but I appreciate you coming 30 minutes earlier. Also, I just kind of want to update you with some liens that we've been receiving. We received the 8208 Volusia Place. That was a $2,300 lien that we received. 605 West River, that was a $15,300 lien that we received. That was the one with the roof and the electrical. I also want to give an update of, as far as this fiscal year, we have collected $193,350 in liens. And right now, we still have 103 code liens still pending or out there. I also want to give kudos to the city attorney, Pam. She created a letter, it's called a demand letter, and she had, and her staff had mailed approximately 22 demand letters to properties with outstanding liens. Out of those 22, 4 of them came in to pay, and we collected $2,200. So kudos to Pam and her staff, which the intern is no longer with Pam, but kudos to her and her staff. So out of those 4, we collected $250 for a case in '06. A case in '04, we collected $1,500. In '06 again, we collected $100. And 2014, we collected $350. So again, I don't want to stand up here and sound like we're generating revenue, because our goal is always to get voluntary compliance. That is our primary goal, but I just really wanted to update the board. And I think we had 2 lien reductions tonight, and I know next month in October, we have 2 more. We have one already set up for November. So I think because of the demand letter that the attorney had sent out, and the one you got tonight from Mr. Cresswell, I think that generates them to move forward and try to get their property in compliance.
I think that's a good response, actually.
Yes, that's why.
Get some of them off the list.
Yeah, for
in
years,
final.
I've been with the city since 2007, and I can tell you that every quarterly liens list, the board members always say, how come we have these cases running since '05, '06, '07? We've had residents come to council meetings and voice their opinions about the liens, and so kudos, like I said, kudos to Pam for something that should have been maybe done a long time ago.
Yeah, that's
So,
true.
I'll cut it short, and then thank you.
All right, thank you. Thank you, Mr. Mueller. I was going to ask you, but I'll ask it after, okay? Are there any other new items? Make a motion, have a motion to adjourn?
Motion to adjourn.
Mr. Stats?
Second.
Second by Mr. Westfall. All in favor? Aye. Aye.